And we're live.
And we're back. Welcome back, everybody, to an unprecedented another episode of Shoot the Shetty. This is our second one in the second week. That's pretty good for us.
Yeah. Hey, first of all, I want to thank the 3,000 plus listeners who listened to our last podcast, which was 3,500 viewers and listeners for the Avengers thing. I mean, wow. Who knew that Shawn's nerdism would come in handy?
Ha ha!
No, honestly, that's great. And from now on, every episode will be about the Avengers for the next 52 weeks. So get ready.
This episode is about the West Coast Avengers, which will be an eventual mega movie.
Yep. It's gonna keep going on and on and on. But no, seriously, it's we appreciate it. Shawn, so what's the agenda for today?
Today we'll be talking about the labor crisis in the 1950s.
Really? I thought we were talking about the Renaissance.
Yeah, we can talk about that too. That all ties in together.
And how the Avengers affected the Depression. And anyways, no, we're talking about Adam Sandler, right? About how he's hosting SNL this week.
Dabba-doo, which is Adam Sandler's catchphrase.
Well, the reason we're doing this is because, one, it's trending. it's popular. So we thought people would find it if we talk about it. But honestly,
can't say that we don't have any transparency on this podcast.
We thought maybe this would get more than 50 view downloads when we talk about Adam Sandler and SNL. But also, no, honestly, I'm still a huge Adam Sandler fan, and Shawn used to be.
And we'll go a little bit more into used to be in this podcast.
Hey,
which is strange, jumping off that. I think a lot of people fall into that category. You're either with him or you've kind of lost interest in him. I know.
Or you want to kill him.
Or wear his skin. No, I think your older brother, actually is not so much a Adam Sandler, and he kind of much said so, that he detests whatever he does now.
Well, can I just set this up? So basically, I was born and raised in New Hampshire, in Laconia, New Hampshire. It's an hour away from where Adam Sandler grew up, which is Manchester, New Hampshire. He went to Central High down there. So anybody who's from New Hampshire in comedies on my radar, Sandler, Sarah Silverman, Seth Meyers, whatever. So I was a huge Adam Sandler fan growing up when I was a kid. And I just thought it was so cool that this guy was, not a hometown native, but a New Hampshire native who went on to do cool things in comedy. I was just really proud of that.
Yeah, and he started from humble beginnings. He had a bit role on an MTV show called Remote Control, where he basically played a doofus or mildly mentally handicapped man who wears no clothes, and that brought him onto Saturday Night Live. Well,
he was on the Cosby Show too.
He also did a lot of stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct, right?
Yeah. Well, he went to NYU, which is sounds stupid, but like when I was looking at schools, he thought that I was like, oh, Adam Sandler went to NYU and did comedy. I can do that too. So, and when he was in school, he did two things while he was in school, which is pretty impressive. There was this club called the Comic Strip in New York, which is like a really hard club to get into. And like Chris Rock started there, and Sandler got discovered there by this guy named Lucian Holt, who turned me down, which is another story. But and then he was also a recurring guest star on the Cosby Show. He played Theo, Cosby's son's good friend. I forget his name exactly, but I know he was on the Cosby Show. So he's been killing it since, he was 19, 20.
Wow, yeah, he started that young?
Yeah. He was doing acting stuff when he was in college. And then he made that movie Overboard, I think, like right out of college. Remember that movie where he's like on a cruise ship?
Yeah, so for people who don't know, that was his first movie ever. It's kind of a straight to video type movie. I think if you Google it, you'll see you probably don't want to watch it.
I haven't seen it actually.
Well, there you go. The number one fan hasn't even seen Adam Sandler's first movie.
I know. Also, can I just say this quick story? So basically, his son, I'll name names. I don't care. No, his nephew. His name's Tyler Spindell, who's like a director guy now. So he was doing stand up at the same place I was doing stand up at, and so Sandler once came to like this shithole bar in Westwood where I was performing, and it was like Sandler and Kevin James. So I actually got to talk to Sandler, and he's like, "Hey man, you been to Hampton Beach?" And I've never been to Hampton Beach, but I was like, "Yeah, it's wicked awesome." He was like, "All right, great." Like I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. So I was like so blown away, and he was such a nice guy because he showed up in like shorts and a t-shirt and like stopped to talk to me and talked for like a minute or two before he was like, "All right, let me get the hell away from this kid." But
And let's just take a minute to talk about our sponsor, the Shithole Bar. If you ever want to see comedy, go to Shithole Bar.
Brought to you by the Avengers. No, so that was one story, and then the second story was I was like a host for this TV show, and I went for this press junket for The Longest Yard, right? And it was like him, Chris Rock, and another celebrity on stage, I forget. And you know, in a press junk, you get to ask these questions, right? And I was like, "Oh, this is my chance to be funny and impress Adam Sandler." And it was right when Star Wars was coming out, and I was like, "Is there going to be a trilogy to The Longest Yard?" Thinking like, "Oh, people will be like, Longest Yard trilogy." And the whole room got silent. They just thought I was like a kid with like autism asking a dumb question. They were like, "No, there's not going to be a trilogy." And then they're like, "All right, next question."
And not that we think that people with autism would ask such a question, but anyway, yeah. You tried your best and you failed.
Yeah, so that's two. I'm sure next to my scenes, he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you're that guy from The Longest Yard press junket and the shithole bar that keeps stalking me." So I look forward to that next meeting.
He has nightmares about those encounters.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are excited to see Adam return to Saturday Night Live after 24 years. So his original run was from, I believe, 91 or 90 to 95. And that's actually kind of a short run.
Did you just pull those numbers off the top of your head? Really? I don't even know that. Was that? Did you Google that or just something you knew?
Listen, do you know who you're talking to?
Well, there you go. 90. Was it 1995?
So he was actually fired in 95. Yes.
Which to this day blows my mind that he was fired from SNL. I mean,
well, so it was, I think, a time of new management at NBC, and it might have not necessarily been Lorne Michaels, the executive producer's choice to fire him and Chris Farley and a whole bunch of other performers. But yeah, they just felt that Sandler's humor, I guess, wasn't working, and they wanted to bring in new people.
They showed him. He went on to make like $1 billion. All his movies.
Well, that's the interesting thing. I mean, he did make a huge name for himself. Well, we have to look back at this in retrospect, though, because at the time, I think there were articles written about him who were complaining that he's playing mentally retarded and only 13 and 14-year-olds find him funny, which was true. We were 13 and 14 when we saw him.
Right.
But I think the people over 30 or 40 at the time did not like Adam Sandler at all.
Yeah, well,
which only allowed him to do his own thing in the realm of movies.
Okay, two things. One reason why I really like Adam Sandler is this guy just made whatever he wanted to make. If you listen to his comedy albums, like Stan and Judy's Kid, whatever, this guy has no restrictions. Like this shit could not be made in 2019. Like, he would get like just ostracized by society. It's like him like jerking off to like girls in showers or whatever the hell. Like these sketches are like borderline just You know, be careful my
Well,
words
I
here.
mean, we have to go back to the time, and comedy albums were still kind of independent, kind of only the famous comedy albums are George Carlin, right? Steve Martin, Bill Cosby. Uh, it's not something that everybody had, but it's something the fans had.
Yes, but these, I mean, look, when I was a teenager, like everyone was like just passing these albums. There wasn't a YouTube thing. People were just like, talking about his comedy stuff. Like he was doing SNL, these comedy albums, and this set him up for this, amazing movie career.
And I think part of that could be based on his characterization or personality, where he's able to play very, very sweet and very, very raunchy and very, very dumb at the same time. I mean, if you're
Right.
just talking about his comedy album, the sweetest thing is probably the Thanksgiving song. That's a song he started on SNL,
Right.
and it's just very, it's become a holiday tradition. I think people sing it around the table every Thanksgiving now, or at least they play it. And at the other end of that, off of his first album called "They're All Gonna Laugh at You," you have "Jerk Me Off at a Medium Pace," which is
Sure.
about a guy asking his girlfriend to
Right.
jerk him off at a medium pace while she does things to him.
Yeah, which, I mean, so many great sketches. If you haven't heard those albums, I highly suggest you just check it out. I'm sure it's all on YouTube. But what's interesting? When he made, this is actually inside showbiz stuff. When he made Billy Madison,
Ooh, inside showbiz.
he didn't make that with Lorne Michaels. You would think Lorne Michaels would make all of Sandler's movies. There must have been, I don't know the details, must have been some kind of weird rift between those guys, because he made his best run. He made with this producer named Bob Simmons, who now runs the studio called STX, which is a big movie studio in Hollywood. They make like these, I guess, $20 to $30 million movies. So Bob Simmons was the lead comedy producer for all the Sandler movies. So Lorne has, I heard he had this huge riff with Bob Simmons, because Simmons took Sandler to another level and just cashed in on Sandler's popularity. So even though Lorne didn't believe in Adam Sandler's, the other guy kind of swooped in and kind of, helped Sandler out a lot.
Yeah, so we're kind of like weaving in and out of his career, but yeah, like in the still in the early '90s, right before he got fired from SNL, he was doing the bit parts in different movies. Um, and he was in the Coneheads movies, obviously made by Lorne Michaels, Saturday Night Live production. And then the thing you said about Bill Simmons, I'm just looking that up now. Bob Simmons.
Bob.
He actually did Airheads with him as well. So they must have had a good relationship. And Bob must have just said, bring me what you got. Let's make it. And that his next movie that starred himself was Billy Madison in 1995, which I don't know. I don't think at the time was a huge hit, but it's become a cult classic.
By the way, this quick story. When I was an assistant trying to get the hell out of one of my jobs, I emailed STX because I knew Bob Simmons worked there. And I was like, hey, this is my resume. This is how cool Bob Simmons is. And, it goes to show you, like, this guy will take chances. He brought me in for a meeting. It was him and, like, his development head. I didn't get the job, nor did he offer me a job. But he actually gave me, like, 20 minutes of his time just to, like, meet me. So this guy, I feel like if you're a producer, like, you look at everything. And you consider everything, and then you make a decision whether you can monetize it or not. But I was like, I think I told you this. I was like, dude, this guy, pretty insane that he even like met me, because I was like a low level assistant, and he just told me his business model, and I told him I was a huge, fan of his movies, blah blah blah. But I think your team, and I think Sandler's had a great team. I think that's probably why he's really successful. His team, like Dennis Dugan, all those guys, has really helped elevate him to like this astronomical level and just make a killing in the business.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I fell asleep.
There you go.
Yeah. So let's talk about what were your favorite. What definitely is highlighted in your mind when you think about Adam Sandler on Saturday Night Live?
What highlights and sketches that I liked?
Just right off the top of your head. Don't even think about it.
I guess Opera Man, that was great. I love anything he did with Chris Farley, in terms of like the Gap Girl sketches, the Lunch Lady stuff. I like Canteen Boy. Um, Honestly, even the Weekend Update Halloween stuff, Halloween costumes, where he just didn't do any costumes, like, and kind of made a bit out of that. It was just really creative to me, and I don't know anything about comedy. It just resonated with me as a human being, and just was my sensibility.
Right, right. And I think people should check out on the SNL app. There's a great sketch with him and Dana Carvey called Pepperboy,
All
and
right.
he has the same personality of someone who's slow-witted but sweet, and I think that's that same personality is
Dude, you know what I
carried
just
him
saw
pretty far.
actually? It's actually a Chris Farley sketch, but Sandler was in it. Did you see the one where Chris Farley comes back to? He's like a motivational speaker, but he's in prison with Martin Lawrence.
Wow, no, I don't remember this.
Dude, it's hilarious. Yeah, it's basically so Sandler's in that. He's like one of like the inmates, but like he's like cracking up throughout the entire thing. It's pretty funny.
And shout out to SNL snippets on Twitter. This guy puts out old SNL snippets you can't find anywhere else. There's great snippets of Sandler singing, and he did a great impression of Axl Rose and Eddie Vedder, and that kind of just highlights his musical background as well. So yeah, he was just like multi talented on SNL.
So, why do you think he didn't host on SNL for so long?
I think a couple reasons. I think one, like you said, there was a fallout with Lauren. I guess maybe he thought, Lauren gave me a start, but he didn't believe in me or whatever. This is total, just
This is fact.
no, it's not fact.
Adam
But
Adam Sandler's listening to this. He's like those fucking assholes.
but he did mention on Norm's talk show that he just thought, there's nothing else for him to do, and that it was just a lot of pressure if he went back.
You know what? Again, this is all just I guess suppositions, but I'm not. I think he might hold grudges, man. Because even on Howard Stern, like he didn't do Howard Stern for the longest time because I think he got pissed off at Stern, and he just started doing it recently. So maybe he's one of those guys. And honestly, this is actually. I'm sorry to drop all these stories. This guy named Mark Maron, who's a comedian, and Mark Maron went on Conan and made some bit about. He just mentioned Adam Sandler, how he's like infantile and like appeals to like the masses. And I guess Sandler like confronted him at the improv, and he's like, "You have a problem with me," or something like that. So I mean, this guy apparently maybe takes stuff personally, and this kind of will distance himself if he thinks that you slight him.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, you like you said, he's always seemed like the sweetest guy.
No, let's trash him. Let's get to the real Adam. No, dude, honest to God, the times I met him, he just seemed like a cool dude, genuine dude, and he's helped. He's helped so many people. I mean, just look at his career, dude. Like the people he started with are like his producing partners, and they've all worked together. Like that's really hard to find in Hollywood, guys
Yeah,
who.
and I think he's just genuine. Where he likes to work with his friends, and all of his old buddies from SNL. He still works with them. He's still friends with them.
Who's his
They go
roommate
on
from
tour
NYU?
together.
Who's his roommate who like writes the movies with him? I forget.
Judd Apatow.
Now another guy who's I can't even think. He was the guy in Billy Madison who was the teacher. He's like, we all became dumber. Remember that guy?
Oh, that's Tim Hurley.
Yes. Yeah. So I guess he was I guess roommates or good friends with him at NYU, and he's they those guys have been tight forever. Um, Man, I wish I was friends with Adam Sandler. That was kind of a
So many of us wish that as well.
So how do you think he's gonna do on the show? Do you think? Are you looking for? Are you gonna watch it even? Are you gonna like stay up and? Cause I don't watch SNL to be honest, but I'll watch this weekend.
Wow.
I'm sure it's gonna change the the Nielsen ratings.
No, I'm the next day SNL watcher because I have Hulu, so it just comes on at like
What's
10
Hulu?
a.m. Hulu, for people don't know, online streaming for NBC shows and
What's
many other.
NBC?
All right, so as you can see, Tarun works in entertainment but knows nothing about entertainment.
Oh, dude, I gotta tell you about this thing afterwards. Anyways.
So stay tuned for after the podcast where Tarun will tell us something. All right. So anyway, yeah, it's going to be a good time. I think lots of guest stars. I think Spade might be there. Schneider.
Really?
Why not?
They should just bring back the whole cast.
Whole cast. Yeah.
Just have the cast of 92 take over.
Right. I think it's going to be great.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, let's play devil's advocate though. I mean, he's really doesn't appeal to like the millennial market, right? So isn't that a kind of a
wait? What do you? He has like 6 movies on Netflix. Who do you think watches Netflix?
Okay, so you're saying millennials watch him?
Oh my God, yes. Not only that, kids have grown up with him. Just in the last 5 years because he's done these animated movies.
See, I thought like people like my age like watch it, but I guess you're right. Like Transylvania and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that just goes to show his longevity. And like he got us when we were.
He got us.
He got us. He hooked us in. He continued that for the next 10, 15 years with his movies.
Yeah.
Then he got a whole new other audience with the more serious drama movies he made.
Rain on Me.
Rain on Me. He did Funny People with Judd Apatow.
Grown Ups.
Wait, what?
Well, Grown Ups too. There was a big scene with Colin Quinn and him playing basketball.
That was Oscar worthy right there.
Colin Quinn's hilarious in those movies, by the way.
And then he's done animated. Like I've watched Hotel Transylvania with my young nephews.
I haven't seen it. Is that good? I heard it killed in the box office.
Yes, it's good.
Is it good? Honestly.
Yes.
No. Because Grown Ups, I wasn't a big fan of, but they keep making sequels to that.
So, like I said, kids love Grown Ups. It's a movie parents take their kids to.
Dude, the Sony emails. So basically, there's a whole like Sony scandal where the emails got hacked, and they trashed Adam Sandler because I guess like he makes these like crazy demands for like his movies and whatever. So yeah, man, the guy the fact that he can just do whatever he wanted for X number of years speaks volumes to his star power.
Yeah. So, do we want to trash Adams?
Hey, come on.
Any other secrets you have?
Yes, one time I met him in an alley.
No. So, so I was just thinking about this. It's like in the previews for SNL this week, Adam Sandler's like, wow, look at all these old memories of me doing these sketches. And Kenan Thompson comes out and says,
I saw that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like you never left. So SNL is kind of like, if you think about it, it's kind of like a boarding school. It's like a prestigious boarding school where everybody goes, and you start off as a freshman, and nobody knows you or wants to see you. Then each year you keep doing more stuff, and then eventually by your senior year, like people love you, and like your star is blowing up or whatever,
or you disappear. I mean, you can also flame out of that show.
I mean, that's what I'm getting to. It's it really depends. That's on a lot of things how SNL works. It's not like just because it's the Harvard of comedy, you're going to be all right for the rest of your life.
Dude, there's this one guy, I don't want to say his name, but like he was on when like Tina Fey was on and Will Ferrell. So he got buried, and I see him in the clubs now, and like he just looks like he's miserable. He's just like oh my god, I can't believe this guy was in SNL. You know, like he probably thought this was like his,
or
and he's
his
actually really talented. And
his initial JR.
I'm not going to say that because you can figure it out. But but yeah, it's just I feel like either make you or break you. Another guy I'll mention his name was Dean Edwards, who was on SNL, and I was a door guy at a comedy club when he got on, and he lasted a season. He was really funny, but he got on when Tracy Morgan was on, so maybe like that kind of hurt like his parts, like the black guys in the sketches, whatever. So he lasted a season. So like you just don't know. There's like this X factor of whether you propels you to another. Like Will Ferrell just took it. Will Ferrell, Adam Sandler, Tina Fey, Seth Meyers. I mean, the
Well,
list goes
so yeah,
on.
I think these are all cases though of like even if it's a school, if you're talented to begin with, and you have the right place to jump off, you're gonna succeed. Like Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, they're just hugely talented. Same thing with Adam Sandler. Uh, Unfortunately, you can't say the same thing about every single cast member. I mean, they all have their good points, but it's not like they can all make blockbuster movies or anything like that.
Dude, I thought Chris Kattan was pretty funny on that show.
Yeah, so
I'm
it's like
surprised
he was supremely hugely talented. So many uh, characters and just impersonations. Uh,
he's
that's
now
why.
doing stand up in clubs. When you're doing stand up in clubs, that means you're trying to make extra money. That's what happens. Like him, Tim Meadows, like obviously, these guys have had amazing careers, much better
Tim
than I've
Meadows
ever had.
fine. What are you talking about?
No, but I'm just saying, dude, come on. That's the fact. Like when guys start doing the clubs and don't have an act, like they're trying to cash in, and they've got time to go tour like that, it means they're not working as much in TV. But I never understood that because Chris Kattan, I thought he was like really funny. Even Corker Romano, I feel like there's like a niche for everybody, but this business is, it's just me being jaded. It's a tough business.
And I mean, just from my point of view, as someone who's not in entertainment, it's not necessarily the business. It's just whatever you put out. I mean, like I said, Sandler just has this sweetness, inner sweetness about him that he's able to play angry or low IQ or which a lot of his movies are based off.
Well, I mean, is it though? I mean, what was his last movie? Isn't he playing more? Just because even like I'm just thinking of like the Western movie he made. Was it Ridiculous Eight? Or what was it? I forget what
Yeah,
the name of
Ridiculous Six. Right.
Six. But even these movies now, like he's more of like the lead smart guy, and the other guys around him are idiots. So now,
Right,
like,
right, yeah. So he's kind of involved,
mhm,
and I think that just comes with age.
yeah,
Yeah, he's like the leading man. I don't think he really has these big overreaction acting style anymore. It's more of the subtle. It's like, what's going on? What are you doing? You know?
yeah, which I like. I mean, I think there was a time people were comparing. No, actually, it's more Jim Carrey. People were comparing like a lot of Jerry Lewis stuff because his voices and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he's more complete as an actor, whether you like his movies or not. I think he's at least shown some kind of range versus a lot of other actors who never left that box.
Yeah, and I think he just evolved into a mix of Humphrey Bogart and Ernest Borgnine. It's like Humphrey Bogart is this leading man, and Ernest Borgnine is this silly
Right.
kind of comedic actor. So I think, yeah, if you're a fan of his movies, that's what's going to be for him next. It's going to be a lot of more not serious, but just more adult comedy, I guess.
So, do you think he's gonna pull out old sketches on SNL this weekend?
Ah, yeah, actually, there's been a lot of talk about that online. Um, some people are saying no, like you can't do Canteen Boy. Uh, Maybe an Opera Man. That's pretty unoffensive.
I mean, you can do Gap Girls again with David Spade, right?
Wow, that I would love to see that. Adult Gap girls.
Yeah,
Maybe they're still working at the Gap.
but Chris Farley isn't there, so
Well,
sad.
he wasn't in all the sketches, but they can still do it.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. Who's the musical guest this weekend?
Shawn Mendes.
Okay, who's Shawn Mendes? I don't even know who that is.
He's a singer.
Oh, great. Well, there you go. I'm excited. So, does Sandler have anything that he's promoting on SNL, or is he just doing a random appearance?
No, he's got a new Netflix movie out. It's with Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, actually, I did know that. I haven't watched the trailer for that yet. Is that out
So
yet, or is that coming out?
it's coming out June 14th.
Do you think these movies are doing really well on Netflix? Because Netflix doesn't share their numbers.
Yes, I do think they're doing well.
Because honestly, I don't. Now, don't quote me on this, but I don't think his last few studio movies did well. Am I mistaken on that? Like when they came out in the theaters?
Let's see. His last big one was Pixels, which we both saw.
We saw Pixels in the theater. It was great. I loved it.
Well, according to the budget, is 129
There's no
million,
way they made their money back in the movie.
244 million.
It made $244 million
Yeah, that's right.
globally.
Yep.
What was the budget?
129.
Wow. I mean, I was wrong.
But that's
Damn.
because it had a lot of effects. If we look at his last non-effect driven movie, it's with Drew Barrymore. That was 40 million budget, which they went to Africa to shoot, and it has a box office of 128 million. So that's good returns.
Someone was saying that he was just picking movies based upon the location so he can bring his family there. Because I don't understand that though, man. Like, why would you? I guess Netflix was part of the new model, but like your movies are doing well on the studio system. Why would you jump to Netflix?
Well, because I think with Netflix, they probably give him a lot of leeway to do anything he wants without notes. With the studio, um, I'm sure there are a lot of people involved, and he's just more hands-on with this Netflix stuff.
We should probably get him on the next
Yeah.
podcast. So
Hey, Adam, whenever you're free, just give us a shout out.
Or we can get his house cleaner on.
We'll try to.
Or his mailman.
We'll try to schedule with you. We're both pretty busy.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be a good episode, and we can talk. We can do a post Avengers Adam Sandler.
You gonna do a drinking game?
Yes, with Bailey's, my go-to drink.
Every time he does gibberish, you drink. Every time he yells, you drink.
Every time he goes to a commercial, drink.
Right, exactly.
Out
of his Netflix movies, which one do you enjoy the most?
Dude, I like all of them, dude. Honestly, like, I know you hate this movie, but like, like Sandy Wexler, I thought was hilarious. That's my boy. That's my boy. Where he's like, what are his catchphrases in that movie? Which I would do to you.
For That's My Boy?
Forget. I remember Pogogo for one of the twins, but that was
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill. But I look. I will put on an Adam Sandler movie and just watch it because look, man, you can have it playing in the background, and I feel like maybe I'm just a sucker for the past, so maybe it brings back old memories.
Yeah, that's true.
I was gonna for a while I was seeing Sandler movies in theaters, and I was like saving all the ticket stubs, and I was like, I'm gonna put on a bag when I meet him for my meeting. I'm gonna show him all the stubs, and I just stopped doing it.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, I saw all your movies opening weekend.
I love you.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I mean, honestly, there wouldn't be a Tarun Shetty without Adam Sandler. I can say that. But
I think he would say that too.
anyways, well, that's all I got for this. You going anything else you want to add?
I'll be performing at Yuck Yucks
Good.
on May 30th. Check me out there.
Hey guys, again, thanks for listening. Please subscribe to this podcast. I wrote a book. You can check that out. I'm going to plug my website because screw it. I got a book. It's called thinktarun.com. You can find my books called Laughing in Hell. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and it's all about comedy and stuff. So if you like comedy, check out my book. And thanks, Shawn, for being a nerd and helping out and getting people to listen to this. I really do appreciate it. By the way, Shawn's not a nerd. I just keep saying that because he just knows a lot. He knows a lot about pop culture, which I don't.
You're paying me, right?
Yeah, actually, we can make some money off this. If all we need is for everybody here listening to tell 5 of your friends, like Amway, and then this podcast will blow up.
And then eventually we'll turn into a cult.
Yes. No, honestly, sincerely, we do appreciate anybody who's a return listener. It does mean a lot, and we'll continue to be as transparent and authentic as possible.
We'll show you our tax returns.
Sure, why not? I'll do that. It helps. Okay, cool, man. I'll see you later. Bye.